Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, people? Welcome back to the TV terminal. Welcome back to Monarch Legacy of Monsters, people. Ooh, we did it. Well, we'll get into it. But my name is Adam Bale, senior editor over at Koalition.com.
And I'm Josh Lamage, writer for the Coalition.
Yeah, little late on this one. Again, life, people from out of town coming in, other things happening. So we hopefully by next week, Josh, you think maybe we'll get this back on the schedule so that way it's out on Friday, so we're up to par. We'll see. Hopefully we can get
just watch the entire season.
Right? We could just do that. We technically could, but no, we're not going to do that. But yeah, no, that's it. Imagine, oh my Lord, Apple will come down with the hammer. You son of bitches. Oh man, I knew somebody who screwed up like that. They keyed up a lot of their stuff on the back end schedules, and they were off by, I think it was like a week or something, the date that they put, everything like posted up. I saw it on my feed. I'm like, oh, and the guy was like, oh, he was freaking out.
Must have been awesome for the fans. Horrible for him.
If they got, it was bad. He was sending all kinds of apologies. But anyway. Real quick there. Thank you for that. Thank you for the likes and subs. Other shows are going on over at the channel here. As you know, we just finished up the Madison. Lawrence and I, we just did another video for 4, 5, and 6 that dropped. We're also I think by the time this is out, you'll already see we have the latest episode of Marshall. That's episode 5, Lost Girls. If you're watching that, turning out to be a good show. You know, a lot of people were hating on it because of the Yellowstone. Oh, it's not Taylor Sheridan. It's CBS. Blah, 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 blah. It's good. It's actually a fun watch. It's a fun watch. Little housekeeping also. Next up in April, Richard and I are going to be covering From. Right, that's the MGM Plus horror show. It's on season 4, so that's so far we've already covered some of those episodes. We already canned up pretty good. But you have to like the type of show. I mean, if you jump in, you're gonna be lost. You're like, what is it? Monsters, aliens, government, what's happening? Right, but if you can't, go check that out and then jump in when you see us covering. And then we have what else? I think Dutton Ranch. That's in May. And that's another Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone. That's with Rip and Beth. If anybody knows that, that's their story. That's going to be good. They live out in Texas now. They bought a ranch. But anyway, just wanted to get that stuff out of the way because I do get a lot of questions. What are you covering? What's not covering? Blah, 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 blah. There you go. That's what's going on. Now let's jump into episode 5. There's a 10-episode season. I did get some comments before. They were like, "Oh, is this 8 or 10?" 10. Something. We're all over the place with shows, as we all know. 6 on 1, 7 on 1. I think that Dutton Ranch I just brought up, that's 9 episodes. Can't even do a full 10. Can't go for an 8. Let's do the 9. It's all over the place. But what's the name of this episode?
Furusato, meaning an emotional birthplace, a home. Nostalgic memory. Now, I thought upon the title, I thought we were going someplace like that, but it ends up being a song that's very emotional in the end.
Very
we'll
sad.
Get to that.
Very sad. So let's just start into it.
Let's dive into it. Tokyo, Japan, 1990. We get a young Hiroshi. The actor is beardless, so he looks really young here. And he's talking to Cate on the phone. Little Kate's in her bedroom, and her dad's in Japan, and she's missing him, and she's like, "Dad, can you sing the lullaby?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me sing it for you." And
soft kitty, warm kid. Oh, Big Bang.
And you can see that he's in like a waiting room, and so a nurse comes over, and she's like, "We're ready for you." And he's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And she's like, "Wait, you're not." Kate's like, "You're not done singing." He's like, that'll give you something to look forward to. I'll see you."
Oh, Lord. I'm sure everyone watching knew instantly what was going on when they saw him in the hospital, right? There was no surprises there. It's not like, I'm going in for surgery here. No, we knew exactly why
he walks in. There's a baby there, and his, I guess, not his, was it his wife?
His wife, his second wife, yeah.
So he married her. I wasn't sure if it was just like his
married, and then that's when she was like, oh, she said it's all in Japanese, the subtitles, but it's funny. She was like, I want to name him after your father, Billy. It was like, and he's like, no, that was my stepdad.
It's like and you could tell he's salty about it, obviously. So he's like, no, that was my stepfather. My real father's name was Kentaro. She's like, Kentaro, yeah.
Even respect on that level, because he doesn't even have to say that's his stepfather, because he left him fairly early. you know, when he went off to go do his adventuring and stuff. So he could have just said that was my mom's, you know,
That's
husband.
enough
I
that he
mean,
spoke about him because then
yeah,
she knew about him.
that's true. Yeah, he didn't have to bring him up. You know, out of sight, out of mind.
But
You
the
know, and
saddest, the funniest, I mean, and the saddest aspect of this was Cate just laying in bed, just staring at the wall. Like, it's so
yeah,
sad.
just sending that last scene. It's like, did you really have to show us that? She come on now. She doesn't know. She doesn't know that he's doing all this stuff. Yeah, she's missing him. Any kid would be missing their parent if they're gone like that for work. But it was just they really pulling at the heartstrings here, you know. And then we get the 20-minute intro. Man, I love the song. I like it. It's fine, but it's just too long. It's a very long intro. If you want commercials or anything, then this is it. Because you could, after the first few times, you're like, you know what? I gotta go to the bathroom. Let me go make a sandwich. You come back, the song is still playing, credits are still. Did you miss anything? No, it's still the intro. It's still, you know, getting there.
All right. So then Hiroshi reads the letter as we saw in the last episode, and he slams the door. Kiko's like, no, please come back. Wait. She's like, look, I made a mistake. It's a one-time mistake. He's like, that letter doesn't say it's a mistake. You love him. That if things were different in another life, we'd be together. What is this? Like, that's not a one-time mistake. You know, he's like,
he's so angry. So angry.
He's like, this is what drove Billy away.
Yeah. And it makes sense. It comes up later, and it was kind of repetitive because they could have brought it up now. But once he said that line, and I was like, oh, okay, now follow up with the rest of it. Come on. The rest of that thought is like, oh, you're the reason why he left me. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't that he didn't want to raise a kid. It's that because that's what he was blaming himself for. It's because of you. He read this letter. He saw this. You're the one to blame. Woo. We get that expression and in that outburst later in the episode, but it could have fit right here, you know, while they were just venting. Definitely. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah. And then the trippiest aspect of this whole thing is that she sees a flashback, you know, from the 60s of them, you know, the three of them, you know, her trio. And she's like, you know, this was for me 2 months ago.
That
like,
is
it's such a weird crazy.
That is really out there because you got to think about that. We're watching all kinds of stuff. We're seeing time jumps and all this craziness. But for her, yeah, 2 months. 2 months ago, he was what, 9? You know, she was still married. She comes back. Husband's dead. She's got an adult for a son now with grandkids and all this drama. It's a lot to take in. I'm surprised she hasn't fainted or collapsed. I mean, someone throws all this at you. It's like waking up from a coma. You know, I had a buddy of mine one time went in a coma, woke up, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, I was just having a sandwich. Like, you were in a coma for a few months. He almost wanted to throw him back. Like, he was in disbelief. So yeah, no, it's shocking that it's only been 2 months for Kiko.
Then we cut to modern day time, and we're in we're still here, but Santa Soledad now in modern day. And the village is abandoned, the village that we had seen in the 60s. You know, we see some of those same buildings up, but it's, you know, all deteriorated. And May's there, along with Apex and Brenda. They're setting up camp on this coastline here in anticipation for Titan X to appear, as Billy's chart has said. So,
following the chart makes sense. But I was really impressed with all this because they had a whole military setup. Now, later on, we find out, and I'm going to link it here because I'm just asking you and then people in the comments. So we saw later on there's an outpost in Monarch, and we know that Monarch was there. Do you think all those structures were all Monarch, or Apex just set up camp? Because it looked like a full military base.
They just set up camp, I believe, because all the tents that they had were just like put up tents. It wasn't like actual physical bases.
All right, because I wasn't sure in the background if there was, because it just looked massive, like just the camera angles, the way they portrayed the location there, it just looked like there was a full-fledged military operation.
It was a mix between like the old remnants of the places with those huts and stuff, and then like these like little makeshift war tents that they placed down. I just think, you know, with the anticipation of this thing showing up, that was like kind of a crappy place to set up camp, I think.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
We'll discuss
later.
We'll
definitely.
But you know, Brenda's like hyped for this. She's, you know, everything's going to plan. May right now is in a little bit of a crossroads where she's like, is this code really the answer? Should we be doing this? And Brenda's like, look, this is the only way. This is how we could stop everything. This is how we can control them. So it seems like May's a little bit swayed here. We'll see.
That's what I thought. And this whole time, and I'm sure a lot of people when watching it's like, oh, she's here to be the informant on the inside, right? That's what she told Tim before.
That's
Tim said, "Hey, I
yeah.
need somebody on the inside. So can you go and get your job back?" Of course. And then after the last episode, seeing that what Brenda was doing, it's like, "Oh, I got it as a pet. We're using your code, and you're going to work with us and help with a better code to control the Titans." She got all wide-eyed and like in shock. But I guess she's really drinking the Kool-Aid.
I mean, it also gave her a lot more importance, it seems, and she feels that like if.
But you said she's still an intern. She's not even getting the big bucks.
I made a joke.
Oh, you made a joke. I'm telling you, they have not said her
she's
title.
Definitely an intern.
They have not given her title. I hope she's making the big bucks at this
They were like,
point.
"You got 3 years experience in Monarch," or
at least she had some kind of bank account set up. It's like, all right, I should see a lot of zeros, and once I do, then I'll do this, and then I'm out because the world's gonna go kaput when you're controlling all these Titans and causing wars.
So then we get Lee Shaw and Hiroshi. We have a little scene where he's like, why are you dwelling in the past so much? Like, when are you going to start moving forward in your life and not holding everybody accountable for their mistakes and move on? You're not perfect either.
Oh, yeah.
Change your future, change your life.
I got this order. Here we go. This is it.
Back, hero. You did. Do you really want to push her away now? Because if you do, you're blowing off the opportunity to discover one of the most fascinating, and fearless, and unique people alive. All because you're mad that a long time ago she just happened to fall in love with you. I'd expect you, of all people, might know a little something about that.
Exactly. We all would think he knows a little something about that, which is why I'm so surprised that he's so pissed.
I didn't laugh at that line initially, but now it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, because she fell in love with 2 men. Like, come on, dude.
Exactly.
Like
2 men, and maybe there was a third guy, but come on. It was a different time. It was a 50, 60 people partying, free love.
But it's valid, it's calling him out for, I guess, his hypocrisy. But I mean, you see how it links,
Yeah. It definitely does. But it was kind of funny. It was funny. But then we get Tim, right?
But they also got a plane. The plane showed up for them.
And you said it, and I'm sure a lot of people are like, where'd this come from? What's going on? This is all linked with Tim. Tim is feeding them information. We're just going to chalk this plane up as a Monarch plane, provided plane. That this is it, because
the cargo
we jump right cargo. That's what it looked like. It didn't look like a private jet or anything. We see Tim on the Monarch ship. He's talking to the commanding officer. He's trying to convince him. It's like, hey, listen, Apex is just sending us on a goose chase for nothing, right? To go to Alaska. They are following the information and the map provided by Bill. Commander doesn't respect it. He's like, that guy was crazy. No, where he's dead. I'm not doing it. He's like, they're following it. We should be too. And it was like, you have any other proof? Well, we had this document, this and that, and Shaw's info. Oh, again, they keep discounting Shaw. They keep dismissing him. The man, we've already gone over it. I'm tired of repeating it. Just listen to him already. But anyway, they need proof. The commander says, provide proof, and then we could do it, because he says there's a lot of higher ups that he has to convince. So it sounds like Apex has the ear of the government. That's really what's going on here, and the funding and all that stuff. So
maybe even beyond.
They could, maybe even beyond. Yeah. So I think that's really what's going on with this whole situation here. So he was like, all right, now that's the goal for Tim. He's got to obtain some kind of proof.
He's like, go for it. And he's like, but my head's on the chopping block. Your head is there too. So if this comes down badly, it's both of us.
And how bad could that be? Okay, well, he didn't want the job anyway. For Tim, remember he was thrown into this because I think it was Natalie that got tail whipped, in the beginning of the season, and
he got a job bump with that. He was like, "Oh,
yeah, it's an instant promotion." Everybody looked at him like, "You're the boss.
Well, it's you now." But it's crazy. I do like how Tim is stepping up a lot more each episode as far as like his role in this place. But then we have our squad on the plane now. Everyone's there. And Cate asked Kiko, like, hey, do you want to talk about this? So I guess everyone knows her dirt now, right? Do you want to talk about the letter? Do you want to talk about what's going on? And she's like, I don't want to talk about this. I want to talk about you. You said you think you could help. Like, what happened in San Francisco? And she's like, I was by the Golden Gate Bridge and I heard some like vibrations and stuff in the water. And then Kentaro was like, you heard the ocean sing? Like he's not taking this seriously at all. But you can see that Kiko is looking at her a certain way because she's heard this before. I'm so sorry. There's a
that's it. That's in the city. Oh, classic Eagles track. Yeah, keep going.
So yeah,
But
they share a little moment there, and
yeah,
they
but
talk about.
I do right before you move on. Is that at least she realizes it sounds crazy. She's like, I was a little drunk. I was drinking. It could have been nothing, and that's what we got from it. I don't remember hearing the music or any of that stuff in the singing. We just saw her walk into the harbor water and
Well,
take a
we've
swim.
seen this happen multiple times with her. So the first time when they were gonna get on those little rafts or something when they were coming back, and Shaw was gonna divert the attention of the Titan, we saw like ripples in the water, and she paid attention to that, so she was a little bit more susceptible to it. And then Kiko had the same thing back in the '60s, right before the Titan came. She sensed it right before. So I don't know if there's like some connection. I don't know whether I don't know what it may be.
Mhm.
In the sense of Cate, maybe she's more connected because she spent a lot of time in that dimension. So
Maybe.
I don't
I
know
don't know.
if that's something that's susceptible, but
And I do like real quick, could they just sprinkle key information? Because while this is happening, still on this flight, Shaw really quickly says, "All right, Tim just told me that Apex has some kind of way of trying to control the Titan." And I was like, "Oh, okay, so that's what's going on." And they're also en route to the island, so we know
yeah.
all that.
Well, they're saying like the Titan X appears in this island every 15 years,
That was
and like
important.
when Cate and we did all this whole thing, brought it out of Access Mundi, like now it just seems to be ahead of schedule.
Yeah, because again, it goes back to Cate. It's like, well, you triggered it. They all agreed they wanted to do it just because Cate pressed the button. She takes all the blame. But they said by activating that on Skull Island, that just sped things up. It pretty much called the Titan X to show up now because it's every 15 years, and it's what they said is a few years early. And it's like, yeah, well, it's our fault that it's here. But you brought it up, and it's something that I had brought up before. This is a cycle. If it's every 15 years, it's been doing this, as we know with the people that worked at the village. They remember they blessed it. They did the offerings, all this stuff. This isn't new, and there was like no harm, no foul.
Just leave it alone.
They've been in peace until this happens, where now we're tracking it, because I think it was more of Monarch was their apex. They saw what was happening from Skull Island, and wow, big creature. So I guess it's one of those things. It's like if you don't see it, it doesn't bother you, but once you know it's there, it's sort of like having like a fox on your property. It's like, I don't see anything ever happening here. But then all of a sudden now it's here, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, now I have to hunt this thing. That fox could have been living on your property for months, maybe a year. But anyway, it's a problem now. So this is what's going on.
So then they arrive in Santa Soledad, and they're walking through the trees and stuff, and we have a little moment between Kentaro and Cate, and they're talking about their father because Hiroshi's in front of them. He can't really hear them, I think. And Kentaro's like, maybe this is why he had these abandonment issues, and he passed it on to us in a sense. Like, he was so scared of being left alone, in the sense that when he was away for work, he found solidarity and comfort and
Yeah, and within the
in
other
this
the
aspect.
co-worker, I
Yeah,
think.
and his coworker. I mean, that's what he
No,
said, and then Cage's just
I
like
know
nodding.
he could say that, but no. I mean, it doesn't matter. He did it. There's no justifying it. There's no blaming. It can happen because we've heard situations where there's people that in real life had situations where a parent leaves when they're very young, and they don't continue that cycle because they know that heartbreak, that feeling of being abandoned, and they're like, no, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be there for my kids.
I feel like it
So
happens in like someone could have a relationship like that, and then they do the same thing. Like I've seen it too. So like it
yeah,
could be both ways.
no.
Like
It
either
could be
we learn
exactly.
from it,
Yeah.
or we take it as guilt. Is
Uh-huh.
because of me, these people left, and they're gonna
Yeah.
leave me again. So I think that's what Hiroshi did, and that's what it explains.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think everyone, including the cats, and they're just looking too far into it, because he openly said it. He was like, I had my home life, I had my work life. She was always at my work life. And it was like one of those situations where it's like, you could understand me. We spent all this time together. So that joke of the office wife, it's like, well, let's make that official.
But it is 100% abandoned issues from Billy in this whole thing, and obviously
Yeah.
losing his mom and not being supported.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
the siblings agree that he left us both. But then he tells Cate that like Hiroshi was very distraught when he thought that Cate had been dead for the past 2 years.
Yeah,
He
didn't
was
sleep or
really,
anything.
yeah. So she's a little taken back by that. She's surprised by it. And then
Don't know why. It's not like he didn't love her. That's the other thing, as we all know. It's never really about that. It's other things. And he said it. He told her a bunch of times he loved it, but whatever. Let's just keep going.
But then we got Shaw and Kiko talking, and she's like, well, why did you still have that letter? It's like, hey, come on, like that's all I had of you. Like this is all I had to hold on to, And I would look at it from time to time. Like, you can't blame me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, memories. That's pretty much it. It's like, what else am I gonna do? He's like, it was over, and that's all he wanted to keep on to. But yeah, I don't know if I would have kept something like that. I probably would have just let it go. It wasn't like it was a great letter. It's a Dear John letter. It's like it's over, goodbye. Could have been, should have been, but it didn't. But
Then we get Jason. He goes up to Brenda and May, aka Cora, and he's like, "Hey, look, like Cora's friends are here, so we just saw a plane that's trying to hide or whatever. Or a boat. They took a boat and they try to camp it somewhere. So we can't have them interfere and lead Monarch here. Like we need to back them off."
Well, that or even the plane, as we said, it was like a big freight plane. You can't hide something like that. It's not like it was like a little plane. This is big. And with all the sensors and the radars that they have, because they're trying to track this Titan, no surprise they're going to catch something big in the sky. So
Yeah,
not
sure.
surprised. But she did say something crazy. And she was like, well, do whatever you have to do to get rid of them. Doesn't matter. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. It wasn't like, oh, bring them in, or you know what? At least bring them in. I wasn't expecting her to just say, don't worry about it. But no, she was pretty much giving them the okay to just take them out if necessary.
So May and Brenda are walking around, and she's like overlooking the town, and May's like, "All right, like what happened to all the people that used to live here?" And Brenda's basically saying like, after Monarch really moved in and was trying to keep track of this Titan, that they didn't want to live with the microscope under, above them, so they left. And they're not sure exactly why this thing travels to this location. Is it breeding? Is it, is it eating something? Like what is the deal here? And then Brenda openly calls her out. She's like, your friends are here. Your friends are here. And she's like, what do I have to do with that? I didn't ask them to come here. Like, I'm here with you. Like, if I didn't believe in this mission, then I'd be leaving. And at first I thought she was playing,
Yeah.
the game again here. But I mean,
Well, that's the thing. Even Brenda was thinking that this is all a game. Like, come on now, you still talk to them. You're their friends. You don't just cut them off. And she was like, well, I didn't, like you said, didn't tell them like I'm here. No, I'm not. I'm not playing both sides. I'm here. I believe in this. This is my code. And you brought it up a little later on. Maybe she's just saying all that to get closer, but how close can she get? She's as close as possible. She is the creator of the code. It's not like, oh, she's trying to obtain more info of what they're going to use to control the Titans. She is responsible for controlling the Titans, or could be to control the Titans because of her code, which I don't know how. Again, we're a few days, right? Maybe if we want to go that, maybe 2. So she must be just like super brain if she could just come up with some amazing code within those 2 days to control these massive Titans. One thing for the little creatures, because that was Brenda had the little pterodactyl, and it's another thing to control a big Titan.
but the thing is, she's aware of this too. She's like, I need more time.
Yeah. But there's like, no, we're doing this now. All systems go.
So then the group finds an outpost, an old Monarch outpost. And they walk in. There's a calendar of the year 1968. So they're looking around like, wow, they waited so long before they decided to pack it in. And then Kiko goes to the bed that's in there, and she sees a drawing that Hiroshi drew when he was little of like, I guess, the Titan. She's like, oh my gosh, Billy was here. And like there's a whole sad moment, and then Hiroshi just like storms out. So then
he didn't even like the drawing that he left it in this little outpost. And I'm going to say that because later on, when we do another flashback and they're like, oh, we found all this stuff of Billy. Remember that whole thing? All his important documents. It's like, well, where's my picture? The picture, he left it. He's like, I don't need to carry this drawing. This is horrible. But either way, the point is that he brought it along. And he had it out, so he was looking at it while he was in bed. We get all the emotion. We get what they're trying to tell us here. We get it.
She chases him out. She chases him out, and she's like, look what I wrote in that letter. And he's like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, we have other things going on. She goes, regardless, whatever you think that means, I loved your father. And he's like, well, she's like, with all my heart. And he's like, well, not all of it. Like,
oh,
like, I chose to be with Billy because I wanted us to have a family. And then Hiroshi has this weird moment, which is great. But he's like, you know what? He's like, when I first read the letter, I was filled with so much anger, hatred towards you, hatred towards Lee Shaw. And then I came to the realization that he didn't hate me. Billy didn't hate me. He left because of this thing and not because of me. It was like,
It's
this is
a great image, and that's what you'll see in one of the images, and that's what I used in the thumbnail. Because while he's saying all this, she's holding him, hugging, and I could have swore I was like, man, this is when you let go. It's like, you know what, you're too much. I can't take
this
it.
area.
Yeah, right here. It just because he was like, oh, it was really you that disappointed him.
He's
not
smiling
me.
about it.
Yeah, and she's still hugging him, and I was waiting for her to say, "You're such a bastard," you know, or something. You know, I know I
Yeah,
would
now she
definitely.
takes the blame for his
Yeah, exactly.
disruptive
I would have definitely
behavior.
let go.
And
I was like, you know what? You were just a piece of crap.
you're
I
the
just
reason
can't.
why I treated my kids like this. Thank you, Mom.
Exactly. I'm gonna blame everything I did wrong on you and that letter. I feel so much better now. And he did say that. Remember? I
Mhm.
feel so relieved right now that
But
you are to blame.
Kiko says, I am fully to blame. I'm the one that did this. I'm the one that chose this path. You know what I mean? And he goes, you take blame for your own mistakes, and I'm gonna take the blame for my own mistakes.
So crazy.
So he's finally admitting he did something wrong. Because before it was like, oh, just say, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
It took to realize that what his mom did is like, wow, all right, well, like maybe I did do something wrong. I guess, but I feel he also came clean before. It just wasn't the right answer, and he
But
just didn't fully fess up. And even now, yeah, go. That's fine. Fess up and say you take all the blame to your mom, but it's your kids that need to. At least Kate needs to hear it. Kentaro doesn't really. It doesn't even bother him as much. At least that's what I get from all
I
this.
guess he had more time.
Yeah, he had more time. He's not that phased by all of this. He was like, yeah, Dad had 2 wives. Who knows? Maybe I'll have multiple wives. I
He
don't
loved
know.
me more. It's fine.
Exactly. He loved me more. Did you?
But the show does, because we see a flashback of in 2014 where he's back in America, and I think he's gonna go visit Cate and Kate's mom, and he has flowers, and he's excited to be back. And then Tim calls him, and he's like, "Hey, we found a bunch of stuff that belonged to your father," and he's like, "My stepfather." Like I barely knew him. It's like, well, anyways, I need you to come here, first plane. We're in DC right now. I need you to look through this stuff. And he's like, "Oh no, I can't. Maybe next week or at the end of the week." He's like literally about to walk into his apartment. And then he's like, all right, I'll take the first plane. And he leaves. It's like, I guess
No
the
one
intent
does
was
that.
there.
No one does that. No one does that. That's only in TV land that you would see something like that. If you're at the door, you got the flowers. I'm sure he had other things for Kate along with the mom. No, he's like, you know what? Even if it's the first flight out, you're at the door. Go inside, tell them. Yeah, I get the other part of it is like, oh, I'm leaving. You just got here and all that. Doesn't matter. Some time is better than no time. So go in
Say
there.
hello,
Even
use the bathroom,
exactly.
and then
Say
leave.
hello. Show up that. So yeah, because what later on he then says, "Oh, I was at the door. Why didn't you come in?" Well, I got called away. That's more important. Hang up. It was like you're a prick, and it just no. I didn't like this scene. This is the one issue I had with it because I'm like, no one would do that. I'm sorry, and he even said I wasn't even close to the man. So why are you rushing out?
Drop in the comments if you do that.
Right? Would you do that? They probably wouldn't because then they get inflamed and a bunch of people attack me. You're a horrible person.
Hey,
You're
life happens, business calls sometimes. You're about to open that door and duty calls.
Oh,
You gotta turn around and go right back to work.
Boy. At least put it down, but make it real sad. Do a knock knock and then put everything down on the door. Ding dong ditch. And then haul ass to the elevator. Press on a button.
So Monarch thinks that Titan X is behind them. I love how the Titan is just on their path and just knocks the ship around. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's behind us!" And then you see it hit the ship, and they all just like, jolt away.
Yeah, because it happens real quick, but the proof is there because Tim wound up sending off the information. I mean, Shaw the information to Tim that he is there on the island and Apex is there. And that they're waiting for it. And that was the proof that Tim gave the commander, and that's why now the Monarch ship is en route to the island as well. Yeah. But then that big thing comes in. It's like, oh, it's gonna hit. And at first I thought it was gonna be one of those where it's a whale. They're tracking something else, like we saw in the last episode. But no, it hits and the whole thing rocks. And like, oh, I was hoping they would say everybody okay. It's like, no, Jonathan from the sky, he fell off. He fell. Yeah, he fell. He was on a lookout and he fell. It's like, all right, one casualty. Woo! All right, let's keep going. Full steam ahead to the island.
But something important happens in the next scene. So Brenda's on a phone call in like in one of the main tents, and we don't know who she's speaking with, but she's like, yeah, everything's going according to plan. It's heading towards us. And then she goes, yeah, water. You were right.
I thought she said Walter. You said water. Of course it's water.
It's traveling by water. Well, she's talking about this Titan because I'm assuming whoever is wanting to purchase this thing for the control of this thing is excited by the fact that this thing travels by water, so that maybe it could travel, certain distances differently, rather than like something that's just on land, like on land, like King Kong or Kong. Sorry,
No, we got copyright. It's Kong.
I'm Kong now. Don't call me that. So that's what I took from that. And she's like, yeah, it won't be long now. So she's excited. She thinks that they're going to gain control of this thing. She tells May to get ready.
But it's so funny, though, because May openly says, I don't have the code ready for something like this right now. Doesn't matter. Whatever you got to work. And she's making deals on the phone. Yeah, this is good. As good as done. This is great.
It's crazy how they still treat like the smartest people like this in TV shows. Yeah, where they're like, we need more time, like please. And the person's like, just get it done. Like we're out of time. Like we got to this point because of me, and now it's like you're not listening.
It's a trope. It's a trope. There's two tropes. There's that, and then it's like, I need more time. You got 5 minutes. All right. And then they get it done. And they're like, all right, we got it. Whew. It's like after saying that they needed like a day more of time.
Because you pressured me, now I'm going to do it, I guess.
Exactly. Now I can get it done within minutes. That was something I would see on Star Trek all the time. TNG people, Geordi, engineer, hard at work constantly. I need more time. You got a few minutes. You got 3 minutes before impact. I'll see what I can do. And then shields are up and everything. All right, but anyway.
The crew is sneaking around the Apex area. They're hiding behind walls and stuff. They go into the old tavern where back in the 60s we had seen that whole bartender scene and stuff. Whole place is run down. And they're looking around, and
I was looking really quick. I should have maybe it was there. I was looking to see if that squid thing was still up on the wall.
So we have a name for them now. So they're called scarabs.
What you call me? Scarabs? Okay.
Yeah, they call it scarabs. So Shaw's like, hey, look, like we need to attack that drone that they're gonna send down. If we intercept it, then we could dismantle this whole thing. It's pretty soon that this Titan's gonna get here. So they're about to do it, and then they see May, and she's on her iPad doing some stuff. So Shaw calls her over, and she's like reluctantly walks in, and she's like, "What are you guys doing here?" They're like, "We're here to stop this," and she's like, "No." Like,
no is right, because she says this is it. She's drinking the Kool-Aid. Some people and ourselves, we thought she's playing both sides, or she's just trying to be coy about them. No, this is legit. She said it. We're doing good. This is going to work out. And Kate's in disbelief, and everyone's in like, no, what? And even Shaw toward the end when she walks, I was like, well, she does have a point. I was like, what are we gonna do? Really? We're just gonna like steer it in another direction. But
her main point was like, we could prevent another G-Day. And everyone's like, do you hear how naive you sound? Like, but she's like, stay out of my way. I don't want you guys to get hurt. She leaves. And then this is where we're really realizing, hey, maybe what is the ulterior motive here with Apex? If they could prevent another G-Day, they could easily start another G-Day, depending on the right price. Which
and
I
then
don't know
that's
what
it. It's weaponizing this. That's what happens here, and that's what Shaw brings up. He is the wise man. He knows everything. He sets all the plans in motion, and he can see the future. And this is it. So if you weren't sure at this point of what was going on, he lays it out for you. And then I wanted to take the audio, but there was such loud music that was overpowering, right? Of him giving this speech. But it's great because he just cleans everything up. It's just, hey, if this works. Because that's the big complaint, right? It was like, oh, why is Apex keeping this a secret? Well, we talked about it. There could be a bunch of reasons. But what if it doesn't work? It's not 100% guarantee that it's going to actually kick in. If it does, it causes problems. Whoever controls the Titan controls a massive weapon. And is it government, private funded, private organization, or, weapon for hire? We don't know who Brenda was talking to that she's trying to sell this off to. It could be a rich guy out in, Thailand or something. We don't know. And then that's a problem, because then now they can just point this Titan to whoever their enemies are and cause problems.
Yeah.
So it's not a good idea. Not a good.
The Scarabs start, approaching the water like they did before in the 60s. They're all crawling out. All of a sudden, Shaw's like stuck in the middle of this. Everyone runs into the tavern. They're calling for him. He gets like run over by a couple, and he falls behind the stone pillar thing that I think they were sacrificing or like cutting fish up at. So they all crawl over him, and then all of a sudden, Cate
Jace?
just gets really just linked up with this thing, and she's sensing it approaching. And my bad. They also sent out
They sent the message that everybody had to leave. That was the other funny part, because Jason was there, and then May was like, "No, I'm not done. Right? I still have to program this thing," because that was the other issue, that she was right next to it. She's like, "I'm not." It's like, too bad. We got to go. It's coming. And then Brenda telling everybody evacuate. You knew it was coming to the island. You knew it. I thought they had a better plan, and there was a reason for all of this. But no, that's it. They're all going to leave, and they're going to deploy this drone, and whatever code is on there, it is what it is. So I think that didn't make much sense, because if anything, grab the drone and take it away. Also, you don't want it destroyed.
Yeah, send it from a distance.
Yeah.
That's the point of the drone, whatever. But
Exactly.
So Cate approaches, and she sees the Titan, and the Titan's glowing blue. This is the color it makes when I guess it's in a calm state, and it's like looking
it's
at
in
her.
sync mode. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's a sinking.
It has all the the scarabs crawling all over it. It's staring at her. It's like full tentacles, kind of like the face of a dragon mixed with like a squid thing. It's very interesting, and it's staring at her. And she's
You're
like,
gonna get the Lego set. You get the Lego set when I make it. You can put that together.
if they made it, then sure.
There we go.
But it's glowing, and she's just in trance. And then Hiroshi sees her, and he's screaming for her, and he runs to her, and the thing like gets mad that Hiroshi's approaching, and then all of a sudden
and eats him, just like
no.
Makes
But
it.
then the drone comes and drops one of those neurotransmitter things on one of its tentacles, and it starts freaking out in agony. Its color starts changing. Instead of the blue, it starts becoming red, and it's officially pissed. And then May's freaking out because she's like, it's not connecting to any of the synapses right now. We can't get any control. This thing is too neurodivergent right now. It's like there were too many pathways for this. Like, we needed way more time to get the code for this. Just because we were working on small little ones doesn't mean that we could control something of this size.
Yeah. It was an overload, right? They were like, "There's too much going on here. It's not gonna happen. This is not gonna happen." And she was upset. She couldn't believe that Cate was there. She's like, "Oh no, Kate's in danger. She's gonna die."
And then there's an aspect where like Brenda's like, "Well, this is all ruined now. Like, forget it." And the thing, I was like, and the Titan starts smashing everything. It sends the scarabs to try to remove the thing from it, and the scarabs end up just like ripping off a tentacle and just tossing it. Which is crazy. So it tosses it, and it causes a lot of calamity. It smashes on everybody.
Yeah, the team is running back to the tavern. We got to go get drinks. Back to the tavern. They're running for cover. The whole thing with Brenda, I don't know where they were.
They're in the tent.
Were they in the tent? I thought they were in a better base. I guess then
no, they were just in that tent.
You were screwed. When they were running out, I really thought they were going to higher ground or something. I didn't think they would.
She was just gonna stay there. May was like, "You're not going down with the ship. Like, let's go." And then we see Jason grab something. He's being sneaky. He grabs something. He gets in a car. He gets in a Jeep, and he dips out.
Yeah. He dipped out.
And then we see all this fire, smoke, everything. The buildings are destroyed. The Titan goes back into the ocean, and then
Tim
Monarch
finally shows up.
Yeah. Tim shows up. He's like, "I need to find everybody. I need everything locked down. Like, we need to know what's going on here." Cate gets up from the rubble, and we look over, and we see Hiroshi in pain. He has a wound in his chest.
Whole lower torso ripped off, a leg on one side, another leg. That would have been something. I'm okay with that. I want to see some gruesome stuff on this. We got a monster show going on here, people. Let's show something crazy, but we don't know. We're assuming
that he got hit by
injury.
By the
something hit him. Something hit him. But that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. We don't see. We just know that he's injured, and it looks like he's about to kick the bucket.
Like, it looked like he got shot, but it's like what, like a piece of the debris went through him.
I would have liked to see at least like a spear or something, like a piece of metal from a metal rod that from the tent set up just went flinging in the air and landed on him. but whatever.
But Kate's like in front of him. She's like, "We're gonna get you help. We're gonna get out of this." And he's like, "Kate, I'm sorry for all the time lost." And he's like holding her face. And then Kiko comes and holds him. She's above him, and she's like, "Remember the song?"
Soft kitty, warm kitty,
Just-
little paw. It's like sing it, thank you. No, but she sings the
Bro, if
song.
I'm
and then
dying,
they-
please get me help. Don't just sing over me. But she sings, "Do you remember Furusato, the song that we sang?" And so they sing it, and Kate starts singing it too. Everyone starts singing. It's the same
Yeah.
song, I believe, that he was singing to her as the nursery.
Yeah. That was
You know?
the same one. That was the same one.
And he keeps singing, and then Kentaro runs over to near Tim and all those people, and he's like, I need a medic, please. And he runs back, and he just sees everybody just staring at him, and he's like, and they just shake their head no, like.
I'm really surprised because as we know before with Shaw and Kiko, remember they were fixing each other up when they were hurt in the hut.
Yeah.
At least somebody said, all right, where does it hurt? It's like, come on, let's like try to
Yeah, they
bandage
kind of
you
just
up.
accepted it immediately.
They just let him bleed out or whatever. No one tries to even help him. They're like, just let's not even see where the blood is going and see maybe we can clog it up or just remove whatever is impaling him on something. But I don't know, maybe we'll see more of that.
What a
afterwards in the next
conflicted
episode.
life. I mean, hey, what if they revive him in the next episode? I don't know, but it seems
Yeah,
like
but no, it seemed like he was done because by the time Tim and friends show up, it looks like the lights went out in Hero, right? That was it. He
Yeah.
went quiet. Everyone's there. It's quiet.
That's why they set up this whole redemption arc and stuff, right? So
Yeah, it's gone. And again, if you call back, this is really hard. 2 months for Kiko. 2 months. That's all it's been from when he was a little kid to adult, grandkids, now deceased. That's a lot. That'll mess with anyone.
And also messing with Kate's head, because now maybe she's gonna feel guilty why she went over to the monster, and Hiroshi ran over towards her.
Oh yeah, that's right, because he went running to save her, and if she didn't go, but then again, I don't think it was by choice that she was walking over to the creature. I think it was like luring her, like sending that signal, and it's almost like a trance because she looked like she was in a trance. Remember?
Oh, that's a good point, because when the neurotransmitter hit her, the Titan,
the connection was severed,
but she
It
heard
no
it in
longer
her
blew.
ears. She was in pain.
Yeah, she was in pain. Yep, in pain, and then that's when it broke the connection. So yeah, I don't think it was her choice to get close, just like it wasn't her choice to jump into the harbor because that's some dirty ass water. Why would you do that? But I think it's that connection. How does she develop this connection? No, I don't know. We'll find out. There's still 5 more episodes. There's got to be some kind of history. Something's going on here. But then again, her mom is from San Francisco, so is it with Hero? I don't know. That's one question we definitely need answering to find out how that connection.
All I'm
But
gonna say is that it possibly has to do something with how long she spent in Access Mundi. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe something happened there and it triggered or it connected to her. Who knows? Maybe there's something inside her. Maybe they planted something, and we don't know. And then they'll do a little callback. But overall, that was it. It was a pretty good episode. There's one thing that I was telling you off here is that the show moves at a good pace because next thing you know, we look and it's over. I was like, oh wow, at no point are you looking at the time. It's like, man, how long? I mean, not like when we covered Chief of War and stuff. It's like some of those episodes felt like 2 hours long. It's like, whoa, what is happening? Maybe it's because it's all the subtitles, but this had a lot of subtitles also.
Or maybe because it was like the same thing, like every time. Like, should you listen to this dude? Yes.
Yeah, no one trusts anyone. They were always double guessing. Everybody, should I do it? I don't know. We'll talk about it in like 10 more minutes. Ask me again. Okay. So there's a lot of that. But yeah, overall, it's good. It's good. Again, people, tell your friends about this show. Tell your friends, friends, share, like, not just what our coverage, but just the show in general. Because as we found out last week when Josh was doing some research, it's not very big here in the States right now, viewership wise, even though it's on Apple TV. It's overseas. It seems like it's doing all right. But here, and it's a crowded market. We got a lot of good shows, all different types of shows, though. And we don't have a monster one. You know, I always talk about the pit, like the pit. We got Marshall. That's a Marshall running around in Montana doing stuff. This is a monster show. We got Godzilla, Titan X, Kong. You know,
maybe because when you think of these types of movies, especially Godzilla, King Kong, things like that, we picture them fighting each other.
Yeah, you don't really care too much about like drama and
like the
dialogue
people
linked
like
around
trying to
it.
find them and like trying to capture them and stuff. Like they always show up in the movie, but it's like they're just witnessing these things fighting each other, and they're like,
But
"Oh
you
man!"
said it right before we started recording. You was like, "What's what's the end goal? What's the point for the team here? What are they?" And there is none. It's just to keep luring it away to do what? To hopefully it goes away and does come back. I don't know. At least with
The end
Apex,
goal now is to stop Apex.
yeah. Now it's to stop Apex and then see what's going on there. But hey, it was all right. It was good. I like it. We have 5 more episodes. So again, people, what do you think? We know some people are like, oh, it's good. It's all right, you know. But but we'll see. We'll see where what's going to happen in regards to a third season. I don't hear a lot of chatter. I don't hear a lot of chatter about it. But anyway, thanks again for the likes, the subs, the hypes, the support for this show and all the other shows that we've been covering on the channel. There's a bunch. You can see a bunch of. I still get comments from people that are watching Revival that we covered like a year ago. You know, we still don't know if that's coming back for a second season.
I hope so.
You know, hopefully, we'll see. All right, everybody, have a good one, and we will see you next week for episode 6. Peace.